And welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Har Habyit number 94, Standing Counterintuitively Close to the Holy of Holies. So today when we were up earlier to Har Habyit, it's clear from the pictures, the videos, that we're not far from the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock, according to many, is right above the Holy of Holies. The rock is the Even Shasiyah, where the Holy Aron was placed. That's the holiest place on earth. And anyone who goes to that area today, as well as when the Mikdash was there, is chayiv kares, liable for kares, for death from God. It's quite clear we were close. So we at Menard HaMa'or, for now, are hugging the Western Wall and not walking around the rest of the Har Habyit. But does that make any sense? We're afraid to go into the Holy of Holies in the Azara, in any area where we cannot go today because the Kedusha of the Holies is still there. And then what do? We are a very, very in close distance to what may very well be the Holy of Holies. And we won't go on the southern side where everyone else goes. It's very counterintuitive. So there's two very important points. One, intuition has a role in knowledge, but a limited one. Certain times you see a person, first glance, I don't know, there's something funny about this person, have an intuition, and it may be right. It may also be wrong. This person has to be very cautious about not jumping on his or her intuition. And ladies often will have an intuition to another person much quicker than a man will. It's not always accurate, but it should be taken into account as a very possible insight. When it comes to technical areas, scientific areas, biological areas, halachic areas, in the hard sciences, the intuition is very, very limited, much more than in the human area. So in the human areas, it may play a role, a limited role, but it could play a role where a person has a certain feeling of something about this person. It could play a role. Look into it. When it comes to the halachic areas, the intuition may be totally off. So it has to be taken into account in a very, I don't know if I say skeptical way, but must be looked into properly. Over here, it's true we were very, very close. And it's true that if you go the regular route that everyone else goes, or they go straight to the eastern wall, you're much further south. You're hundreds of feet south of the Dome of the Rock. You're much further away. How can we be comfortable where we were, but I'm not yet comfortable in the other area? It sounds counterintuitive, and it is counterintuitive. But what's the idea? The idea is that Western Wall, very good chance, was built by Herod. And the area that we were standing was not even the Har Habyit. It was the extension of the Temple Mount that Herod built. That's what many archaeologists say today, which means we weren't even on the Temple Mount halachically. We were on the internationally known place as the Temple Mount, which means we made a clear statement to the world, and that's Kivush Aretz. But halachically, it's a good chance we were not on Har Habyit. And certainly we're not in violation of anything. If you're not on Har Habyit, it's nothing to talk about. Number two, even according to the traditional view that the Western Wall is the wall that connects to the Har Habyit. And that's why some rabbis say don't lean on the wall, don't put your fingers in the wall, because those walls have the Kedusha of the Har Habyit, and you go to the mikvah. Even if you assume that, which of course was assumed for many centuries, but as I said, it's not a simple assumption anymore, even assume that we were right by the western area, near that western wall, which means we were on the Har Habyit. Which means what? Even if you say that it's not clear that the Dome of the Rock is truly the Rock of Josiah, and even if you want to place the whole Migdash area much further south closer to Mugrabi Gate area, even if you want to say that. So that's why I'm not totally confident where exactly to walk crossing over from the west side to the east side. The west side is safe because that is most probably not Har Habyit at all, or the beginning of the western side of the Har Habyit. So along the whole western side, I have that confidence because I'm near the western wall. And all of Klal Yisrael goes to the western wall. So it means right on the other side, it can't be the Azara. At most, it's Har Habyit. But once you venture further south, unless you're totally sure that the Dome of the Rock is the rock, and therefore you're totally sure where the rest of Har Habyit is, then you could walk freely around the other area. But if one is not totally sure, where I am not yet totally sure, that Dome of the Rock is the Mikdash area, maybe it's a far-fetched possibility, but maybe it's further south. So then walking around that area in the Har Habyit, even if you're much further away from the Dome of the Rock, that could be problematic, as opposed to being on the western wall where you're looking right at it, and you're so close. That's totally fine. So we're going to continue to explore this topic, of course, but two major points. Intuition into areas halacha should be looking with great hesitation. And number two, specific in this area, what might sound like totally counterintuitive, actually, in my opinion, has a lot of logic behind it. At least for now, till we venture through the topic. And eventually, I'll be convinced that the Dome of the Rock truly is. But for now, this is where I'm at in the research. Shalom.